that over there.
Yes.
I'm trying to get lead. Landon Beaver stole my lead.
That was rude.
I know, right? Well, those just took a pen.
So sad. Alright, so next section we're talking about is linear functions. We will actually spend today and probably Tuesday on this. So we will have a little bit of time. We won't get through everything today, but it is all review stuff. So I guess we might get through it all if you guys remember everything you've ever been taught, right? You could probably just skip it and go straight to homework. I don't know. What do I mean when I say linear? It's a line. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. Or you might see it written as f of x equals mx plus b. We talked about that yesterday, how f of x and y are interchangeable if it is a function. What does m represent? And what is b? What do we mean when we say y-intercept?
Where's also your y coordinate?
Good. The y value when we hit the y-axis. All right. Any questions there? So let's start off by graphing them. Now, this is where Mrs. Keller is way nicer than I am because I don't draw or don't print graph paper for you. You guys have to draw your own grids. I know, life is getting really hard. Really, really hard. So, we have our xy axis. If I said f of x equals negative 3x plus 7. So we start where when we're graphing it? When your x is 0, what's my y-intercept? 7. Okay, I'm not real picky. You don't like have to make, you know, a 10 by 10 grid or anything, but I do need to go up to 7. And then my slope is negative 3. How do we do that? How do you graph it? It's like negative 3 over 1. So from this point, you can go down 3, left 1. If you want to be more precise, you could go, or if you want another point, you could also go up 3 and backwards 1. And then we draw a line. I do have rulers if anybody likes to make everything nice and neat and would like a ruler, you are welcome to use one. But I'm not nice enough to print graph paper. What's our domain? Domain is the x as we go from left to right. That's going forever in the negative direction. This is going forever in the positive, so negative infinity to infinity. Range is referring to my y. That's going down forever, so it's coming from negative infinity. Going up forever, so going to positive infinity. Any questions on that one? All right, you guys do this one. Draw the graph, give the domain a. So y-intercept is 3, so you have to start at positive 3. Slope is 2, or you could think 2 over 1. So up 2 and right 1, or down 2 and left 1. So a line looks like that. What are domain and range? Is that true for every line? No. Almost every line. Except for a couple special cases. Let's look at this. X equals negative 3. There's no y, there's no f of x in this one. Do you guys remember what that looks like? X equals, so that means no matter what, your x is always negative 3. So every point when the x is negative 3, what that does is create a vertical line. So that's why this one isn't written in function notation. Does this pass a vertical line test? No. What's the domain on that one? It's just a single value. You can't even write an interval because it's only one. So we just put that in a solution set. What's my range? What y's do we hit? Is that one okay? I want you guys to do this one. How is this one different? F of x is like y. It's saying y equals -3. There's no x in this equation. So what does it look like? Horizontal line at -3. What's the domain? What's my range? Alright. Any questions about graphing lines, giving domains and ranges? If it's got both the x and y in it, you're talking about a normal slanted line. If it's x equals a number, that's a vertical line, y equals a number is horizontal. Next thing we need to refresh. Slope. That tells you how steep a line is. We find it by doing rise over run, or by doing the change in y over the change in x. So let's get that written down. We've seen that formula, formulas using x1 and y1 before. You know, that's just coming from two order pairs. First order pair, x1, y1, second order pair, x2, y2. So let's practice that. One thing to note though before I do those, if you have a vertical line, your slope is undefined, horizontal line, slope is 0. Remember your slope dude video that you watch? So straight up and down. If you try doing the formula, you get a number divided by 0, which can't happen. So vertical line slope is undefined. Horizontal line, there's no increasing or decreasing, so it's just a slope of 0. This is like my x1 and y1, x of the second order pair, y of the second order pair. So slope, the formula you just wrote down, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm not going to give you that formula. You should know that one. Hopefully it's ingrained in your mind. You've done it a lot in the past 2 years. So -6 minus 4 over 2 minus -2. So we get -10 over 4 or -5/2. I want you guys to do B. This is our x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you get 0 divided by 8, which is just 0. What kind of line is that? Horizontal. Slope of 0 is always a horizontal line. All right, any issues finding slope between 2 points? Okay. Remember on the line, it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick, your slope is always the same. So if we had a line, every one of us could pick different points, we'll get the same slope. So let's talk about graphing a line from that information. If I tell you your line goes through the point -2, -3, and has a slope of 4/3, what do you plot first? You start with your point, and we go ahead and put a dot there at -2, -3. And then we know our slope is 4/3, so we go up 4 over 3. And that gives us our second point. You could also go down 4 and left 3 because negative 4 divided by negative 3 is the same. And so we can get our line from that. All right, do we need another one of those? You guys remember this? Could you tell me, does that line, is it increasing, decreasing, or constant? Increasing. If it has a positive slope, it's increasing. That means as you're going from left to right, you're rising. If your slope is negative, what would be true about your line?
It goes down.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to write all of this down, but at least what I would write is positive slope is increasing. That means as you go from left to right, it's rising. Then I would write negative slope is also called decreasing. As you go from left to right, it's falling. If your slope is 0, that's a horizontal line. That's not going up or down. We call that constant. So I would just write down the highlighted stuff. Positive slope is increasing, negative slope is decreasing, 0 slope is constant. So if I look at number 1, I know my y-intercept is positive 3. So that's either at A or C. And my slope is positive, so my line should be increasing or decreasing? Increasing. So that is C. Number 2, this has a negative slope, so it's decreasing. Y-intercept is a positive 3, so that would be A. 3 is decreasing, y-intercept is negative, so that's B. Any questions about those? So, couple last things that I want to review. What are x and y intercepts? How do you find an x-intercept? If you're looking at a graph, it's one thing. We can just look at where it hits the x-axis. If you don't have a graph, how can you get it from the equation? If you are a point on the x-axis, every one of these points has something in common. What would it be? You're on the x-axis. This is like the order pair 1, 0. This is the order pair 2, 0. 3, 0. Yeah, the y is 0. So to find it, you plug in a 0 for your y. So if you want to find out when you are going to cross the x-axis, you have to let your y equal 0. A y-intercept is where your graph touches the y-axis. And we find that one. If you're on the y-axis, that means x is 0. So we'll let x equal 0. Any questions about that? So let's practice finding that on a couple. If I went to find the intercepts, so to find my x-intercept, we said that's where it hits the x-axis, so we have to let our y equal 0. So we get negative 3x plus 0, so I can just drop that, equals negative 8. So x is 8/3. If I ask for the ordered pair, though, how would I write that? Common theory, yep. Order pair is xy. My x is 8/3, my y is 0 there. A y-intercept, we find that by letting x be 0. So if I put in a 0 for my x, we get 4y equals -8, so y is -2. What would that ordered pair be? Good. I always have people that try to write these as a single order pair. They find both and try to tell me the intercept is 8/3, -2. They're two separate points. The point where you hit the x-axis and the point where you hit the y-axis. All right, I want you guys to try one. So x-intercept, remember to find it, we let our y equal 0. So we get 4x equals 18. So that's 9/2 or 4.5. In general, I don't mind if you do, I don't care if you do fraction or decimal, except I don't want you to round it. Like on 8/3, that's 2.3 repeating, so go ahead and keep it as a fraction. If it divides evenly, I don't care. So that's 9/2, 0. Your y-intercept, we have to let the x value equal 0. So -6y equals 18, and y is -3. So x is 0, y is -3. Any questions there? I am almost at my stopping point. I would like to do one final slide for today. Tuesday, we are going to do a couple different review things, and I'll talk about some like average rate of change and word problems. But this is our last example of the day. So, here is a graph of a linear function. Using that graph, I'm going to answer these questions. If I ask you to find slope, how many points does it require to find slope? 2. But they have to be 2 points that we know for sure, right? I don't want to just say this point because I don't know for sure what it is. So points I can easily tell, what would they be? -3, 0, and 0, -1. Okay. So slope is rise over run. So if I start here, I would go up 1 and backwards 3. Or you think from here you go down 1 and go over 3. So my slope is -1/3. What is my y-intercept? Right, we hit at -1, so the order pair there is 0, -1. What is my x-intercept? Hit at -3, so if I ask for an order pair, -3, 0. All right, I want an equation for this function. So I said f, so in function notation, so instead of y equals, we'll do f of x equals. We know equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. So we're using f of x for the y. What's my m? Plus, what's my b? B is the y-intercept, which is -1. So I could put plus -1 or just -1. All right, one term that I haven't used yet. Find any zeros. Do you guys know what zeros are? Close. Just another word for an x-intercept. Just asking, where does it hit the x-axis? You just don't have to write those as ordered pairs. The 0 is just the number. So where do we hit the x-axis? Negative. Any questions? So you'll notice there is a Math Excel assignment open. The questions do have multiple parts, but it is not due until Wednesday. Okay, because Tuesday we are doing some review things, and we might have a little more time in class to work on it as well. So I want you to go ahead and use your time to get started, but if you don't finish, don't feel like you have to work on it over the